Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyrie here with another Exos Heroes video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about FC Talia and whether or like how good she is, whether or not she's worth pulling for, stuff like that. Typical stuff we do with every new character release. Also, before I begin, I wanted to shout out all the new members that have been joining the Discord. We've been getting new members pretty much every single day all month. So I just think that's really awesome. And so if you guys want to get in on that, be sure to join the Discord. So that out of the way, let's get into the video. We got FC Talia here. I think she's going to be awesome. I'm going to pull for her. She really fits the... I feel like how the game's going is which nation you really invest in is really going to factor in which characters you pull for. And so for me, she's a Greenland character. So I'm heavily invested. I have 3 tiers of Signature Force going on potentially 4 tiers. If I end up spending another $20, I can be getting another the 4th tier of Signature Force if I pick up the new the battery out of the accumulation event. I have a lot invested in the Greenland faction, so that's definitely swayed my opinion. If you're more focused on other things like maybe Janai's version or Shufraken's, maybe she's not going to be as valuable as she is to me. Let's check out the character. I think just objectively, she's a very good character regardless. But if you really start to see the higher tiers of Signature Force, you're really going to want to build your teams around this mechanic. First thing is her passive. They added quite a few things to it, which the normal first aid passive here, and she keeps her Dragonite Blessing and Head Dragonite. Very useful passives here, especially if you're trying to do the Holy Dragon Grounds. You're going to need, well, this is specifically for the Holy Dragon Grounds, but you're really going to want this Head Dragonite passive. You absolutely need to have someone with this. If you expect to survive the phase changes, you absolutely need to have this Head Dragonite, so very useful there. Also, a healer is very nice to have. And then she's going to actually hit pretty hard in phase 2 because of this Dragonite Blessing passive here, and then you'll be able to help survive on nature days due to the same passive. On phase 4, it's going to give you a 20% reduction to the effects on the nature day for phase 4. So if you're actually clearing to that point, you're doing at least 314,000 damage. Anything after that, that's when that second part of this passive is going to kick in. And then she's going to get the Dimension Leap passive. That's the typical passive of all of this group of characters, which is Mark increases dodge for self by 40 and attack by 1,000 when attacked. All Dimension Leap mark on self are removed after successful dodge. So this is normally not something that is good for a healer. If we look back on the passive here, which is grants heal 100% of attack, this passive is going to directly scale with this Dimension Leap, which can actually be kind of nice. Then we look at the rest of the passive, there's going to be a lot of passive healing here. So then we got Guardian of Prophecy. Overtime effect increases defense of all allies by 20%. I think that's obviously just objectively very good passive, especially if we pair her with the right characters, and we'll talk about that later down the line. Overturn Fate. 2 times around when an ally is damaged and their health falls below 30%, heals the health of one ally with the most missing health by 60% of the target's maximum health. So you really want to look at the character that she's healing versus herself. Normally it's herself, like her own attack or her own base health, whereas in this case scenario it's going to be the health of the character she's healing. So then if we look at this passive, let's finish the passives and I'll talk about what I think she synergizes with. Rewind. When the health of an ally marked with reversion falls below 50%, heals the target by 30% of target's maximum health and removes all reversion marks. Okay, so I think she's gonna really, the tankier you can make your team, the better. And then you're going to be wanting to pair her with people like FC Tauntalo. The FC Rare and Bathory are just so good that you're probably going to want to pair her with one of, if not both of them. The main thing is going to be, especially down the line as people really start to focus on Signature Force, is definitely going to be this part of Signature Force here, which is pairing the characters together on, I believe it's 2.1. Okay, this is the part of the passive I was talking about here, which is this 30% when provides buff to heroes of the nation if there are 3 or more Greenland nationality heroes. This is a massive boost because not only is it the 30% of health, attack, and defense, it's actually in addition to the 15% you're gaining here when you have 2 of a particular nation. So this is going to be the thing that people are really going to focus on. You're going to start to notice a lot of trios especially when you look at the comps in the top of Arena and just progressing through the content. You're really going to want to take advantage of that in all phases of content because it's such a massive boost. A lot of people have Rara and Bathory already invested in. A lot of people are probably focusing on the Greenland passive or Greenland Signature Force already. So this is going to be something that to really keep in mind, especially when you get to this point here, when it comes to Signature Force, and be able to really take advantage of all these stats. I think the kit is going to be really good as using that core synergy of Greenland characters, or potentially just being splashed in with a group of 3 from another faction. As long as you're trying to kind of building your team, I know that getting that many Signature Forces is going to take a very long time, but I think it's something to really keep in mind of just how impactful that is. And so really trying to double down in all the situations you possibly can, whether it be scouting, whether it be if you're a light spender doing these, the Exos pass, if you just get lucky, if there's ever a banner that gives you a potential of a general, all these they're getting significantly more value to really double down on one faction. And this character is going to boost their stats even further with that 20% defense and being able to heal passively. And it's all based on their own stats too. So really taking advantage of all these potential ways of boosting your stats is going to be really important just in general, but as well with Talia here. And I think all these mechanics are really going to start to shape the meta as characters are getting more and more survivable. They are getting more and more damage. I think that the meta is trending towards a tankier long form meta with like Dorka and Talia and Tauntalo. It's getting to the point where people are really going to be able to survive the burst more consistently. It might push away some of the typical characters that you see in the game, mainly thinking of Rara. And then Shufrakan's already been pushed out a long time ago. I feel like he really benefited when health pools were super small and he got to trigger his passive very consistently after a few moves, a few big AoEs. And I'm starting to think that it's going to really start to trend towards these big burst characters are not going to have a place. Maybe it's going to be a lot of single target, and Ram's just really going to start to take over with being able to do block healing. Definitely keep an eye out for where the meta's going. Okay, let's go back to the kit, because that's the whole point. I kind of got on a side tangent there. Okay, so we did the passive. Let's go to the A1, which is single, deals 150% damage to one enemy. Mark afflicts all enemies except the target with Prophecy of Decline mark. If a target marked with Prophecy of Decline attacks you, reduce damage received by 50%. It heals one ally by 29% of own maximum health when the attack hits. Cleanses all debuffs and damage over time's effects from the healed target. So this new passive here with this Prophecy of Decline and afflicts all enemies except the target with Prophecy of Decline. So you're going to be getting this AoE Prophecy of Decline, and then it's going to affect all of the other people, which I actually like that it's doing that, because whoever you're attacking, you're trying to kill that target, and being able to afflict Prophecy of Decline on all the others, I like that way of making that move. 1 mana move, very good. Not like crazy overpowered or anything like that, but I think it really synergizes what she's going for, which is making the team survive. And lastly, we got the active 2. And lastly, we have the active 2. Deals 127% damage to all enemies. Heals all allies by 24% of own maximum health when the attack hits. Cleanses all debuffs and damage over time effects from healed targets. And then mark, if the healed target's health is 50% or more, grants reversion mark. And that goes back to the passive where you get rewind, where when the health of an ally marked with reversion falls below 50%, heals the target by 30% of target's maximum health and removes all reversion marks. I also really like this because it's solving. First of all, it's just a good move where you're preventing your healing, but then you're also planning for more healing in the future. But it solves one of the issues with the healer where they want to actually heal, but there's no point because it seems like bad value. Whereas now you could heal, and then even if you're kind of over healing, at least you're saving, you're giving those reversion marks, so then you can actually proc rewind to later down the line when they actually really need it. Where a lot of times, especially in Dragon, for example, where you need a lot of healing, a lot of times the healer goes and everyone's full health. So it's pointless. You got to have like very few healers, or you just have one and then you combine them with like Chadi or Rudely, for example, like other ways of being able to heal your characters so you can plan, so you can actually, you're not wasting turns potentially. Whereas with her, she solves that issue by herself by not only being able to heal, but then has other heals down the line saved up. Then when you combine that with, the extra defense, and then she's going to be extra survivable. She has her own passive healing in multiple ways with just her base passive here and first aid, and she has Overturn Fate. I'm seeing a really good healer here. Ever since the introduction of more and more stats, I've never really liked healers like that can revive. I just want to be able to survive longer. Even with characters like, so FC Lepin is kind of, I'm not really a fan of FC Lepin. I like Anastasia more. FC Anastasia, I think, I'd rather just have a big heal and a lot of survivability with stats from Unleashed Potential and Signature Force versus being able to, like, expecting to die, and if I die, okay, she'll res him, even with that she has the damage immunity. I don't really care about damage immunity too much. I just want a big heal. So she's going to be on that level of, I think, a really good healer that's going to fit this more survivable meta. Talking about pairings, kind of, I think she's just very universally going to be useful. I think she's going to excel better, definitely in tankier teams. I think Dorka is you're really going to want to have Dorka on the team. You're really going to want to have FC Tantalo. That would be 2. I think for most people, it's realistic to assume you have 2 Signature Force. Other character, I think you can splash her with other groups. Maybe you can go her and Tantalo, and then you have a group of 3 from another faction. So if you're really invested in one, but not so much in Greenland, you can still take advantage of the 2 most survivable ones and then bring her along. Like, for example, maybe countering other Talias or Dorkas with going with a North Front Frosty setup with Ramj and being able to block all their healing. You can combine them with like Rachel, and then I think for pretty much everyone's going to the characters I'm thinking about synergize well with defense are going to be first Guardian characters and also block characters. And the main part I wanted to mention was when you fully max their Unleashed Potential, I think there's a lot of potential here when it comes to when you actually want to invest in these characters, because I think mainly what people are investing in nowadays, the best Unleashed Potential move is characters that have AoE binds. So Dorka is one, and you're going to take advantage of that. That would be something good with her. Also, Rara combination with Annie. That's what I've been doing about an AoE bind. But that's probably what people mostly have been investing in. So in the survivable meta of AoE is not enough, you want to do big single target damage, I think block characters could actually be some of your biggest nukers. Because if we look here, let's look at Tantalo. And I really want to try this out and see it, but it takes so many resources. I'm trying to get there. But for example, here, when you get all the way down to either this one or his A2 or his A1, both of them have it, where here it would be Unleashed Potential adds an additional 45% of own defense when the attack hits. So that not only you take advantage of his attack, which is 262%, it's a 3 mana single target move, so you're going to be able to take advantage of 3 manas of Signature Force here, and then it's also going to combine all of the defense, or 45% of his own defense, plus you're going to be gaining all of the extra defense from Signature Force passives, and you're going to be gaining that 20% from Talia. So I see a lot of good things to come when it comes to these really tanky characters. Then you're going to be super survivable because obviously you're going to have a ton of defensive stats. You're going to have a ton of healing from Dorka. And then Dorka herself, she has a lot of single target to really start to pick apart the team, because I'm picturing if these characters are going to be so tanky, you're going to really want some big, hard-hitting single-target moves. Like I can see FC Brook maybe being a character that's up there. Diva's up there as these massive nukers that can break these really tanky setups. That's kind of where I see this going, and who I think would be good with her. I think, and even if she doesn't, even without this massive change to the meta, I think she's just good regardless. I think she's going to be really solid in pretty much all phases of content. Going to want to splash her in. That's pretty much all my thoughts I have currently on FC Talia, where I think she's useful. I think she's going to be, in my opinion, top 2 healer in the game. I think she fits with a lot of the current characters. If you're a Greenland user, she fits with a lot of the characters you're already building anyway. So I think I don't think she's like this meta-defining super multiple character, but I think she is a good character worth your zest, and I'm gonna go for her. Let me know down in the comments if you're gonna go for her, and if you're not, let me know your reason why, because there is a couple things that I might want to consider not pulling for her. Like me thinking if there's a chance of FC Janai coming back, I would like to be able to pull for her. So if they went back to back into this and then into Janai, that's going to be a pretty big bummer. That could be something I'm thinking of if you guys ended up missing her. Like I did, I wasn't playing during the time that she came through. Kicking myself for that because I think she's another really amazing character as well. And then there's stuff that you can't really predict, like, oh, they make FC Dorka. Then it's like, oh, okay, rip. Of course, I feel like even if you make her kit unchanged and you just add the capability of being able to put moves on her, she's instant, like that's an instant must pull. So there's stuff like that that would factor into, you know, it's really going to be dependent on what they end up doing. But we've had a lot of characters back to back that have been pretty lackluster. So I think for most people, they should have their zest saved up. Pretty realistic to go for this character. Gonna be it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Definitely like to hear different opinions on this. This is just kind of my first initial thoughts on how I think how good she is and what synergy she'll have. Pretty much every video, there's always really good perspectives out there that are different that I didn't think of, and I just kind of want to give credit to the guys that are posting. So definitely read the comments because a lot of smart people that are commenting on these videos. So definitely read those as well. Also, people have been asking for me to pull shards or pull, like do pulls. Normally, I would, if I was available right when the character went live, I totally would do it. I figured I would like stream it and stuff, but I'm working during that time, so normally I kind of shy away from wanting to pull everyone's shards because normally people want to do it immediately. That's why I don't offer it. But if you guys are willing to wait, yeah, and hit me up on Discord. I'll definitely pull your shard, make a video about it. And that's it for me. Good luck in your pulls, guys. And with that, I'm out. Peace.